So I've heard reports that there is some price gouging going on down in the city of Houston due to the fact that are lower supplies of goods and services because of Hurricane Harvey. Okay, so people get mad at businesses and individuals who decide to, during times of disaster, raise the prices on their stock because of the limited supply of goods and services. I would like to make the point that if people don't do this, then there's two things that happen. One of the things is that when you raise the prices because of a limited supply, then that ensures that the people who really need this stuff will get this stuff. Now, the argument that would be commonly made when that point is brought up is that, well, what about the poor people, right? Like, if I decide to sell water for $100 a case or something like that, a bottled water for $100 a case, it's because I think that people will purchase it for that price. And if people are willing to purchase it for that price, it's because they can't get cheaper water elsewhere. And if they can't get cheaper water elsewhere, it's either because I have a complete monopoly on the market or there's just such a limited supply. And the only way I could get a monopoly on, let's say, the bottled water market is because of such a limited supply. And so that point is necessary to understand if we're going to understand why price gouging is the best possible thing that could go on in these situations. This is the best way to ensure that more people get water. Because what happens if you artificially lower the price, let's say you bring in a law against price gouging, and so people have to sell water for almost the same price as they did before, well then, since there's a limited supply, people are going to run out of water. And the reason that's going to happen is, let's say I'm in Hurricane Harvey, and I was prepared, but I'm looking around and I'm like, this has been going on for a while, and I'm not so sure that in 7 days there will be water, or that this thing will be done, and I didn't prepare that far in advance. So I decide to go to the store, and I purchase as much water as I think I need, bring it back home, because the price of water is at a regular price. However, if people don't have to artificially lower their prices and are charging the prices that the market demands, understand that. The market demands that the market sets this price, water at this price, at this crazy high price. And I go there and I'm like, whoa, $100 for a case? I'm not willing to pay that. I'll take the risk and I'll go back to my house. And then somebody who really needs that water gets that water. So what it does is it stops people from purchasing water when it's like, oh, actually, let's say I only have $100 in my bank account, and if I really need that water, I'll probably purchase that water. $100 in the bank is what you need. And remember, when water is that expensive, it's because there's just not enough to go around. So some people, sure, are going to go without. That's just what's going to happen. But this way, when the price is set where it kind of should be for the market conditions, then the people who are willing to purchase it for that price are willing to do so because they really need it. And people go, well, sure, if you have $1 billion, then maybe you don't need the water. It's like, yeah, I suppose, a billionaire could go in and clear out all the water in the city of Houston. But if they're willing to purchase all of that water for that price, and again, that's going to start to up the price the more they purchase. If there becomes that, I mean, that actually increases demand, which increases the price of water, right? Because if some guy comes into my store and wants to buy the entire stock of what I have, I'm going to raise the prices of that stock. That's just what happens. And again, why would this person do this? This doesn't go on now, right? Like, billionaires aren't going around and being like, yeah, I'm going to go to Costco today and buy all the bread there is. Even though they could. I mean, if you're a billionaire, you could go to Costco and buy everything in the store. But why would you do that, right? People don't do that. It just doesn't really happen. And if they do that, it's because they have plans for the stuff they're buying, right? And again, you don't become a billionaire by wasting your money. That's not how that works. So yeah, again, price gouging, it's a good thing. And I think it's important to remember that. Not only that, but when people price gouge, then there's an incentive for people to, let's say I have extra water at home, and I go to the store and I see that water is being sold for such a crazy price. I'm like, hey, I'm going to take a risk here, and I'm going to sell some of my water because I don't need it as much. So now, not only that, price gouging has increased supply, and it has ensured that that supply has gone to the people who really need it. So, yeah. And I think it's important to remember in times like this that having bad attitudes, the attitude that other people's stuff belongs to me, which is what the attitude you have when you get angry at people for selling something for such a high price. Oh, they're making money off of other people's suffering. What do you think healthcare is? What do you think? I mean, that's, in a way, that's what entertainment is, right? I mean, making money off of other people's suffering. It's like, sure, but there would be no water if people weren't trying to make money off this. Again, because let's say you're near the city of Houston right now and you do have access to water, well, maybe then you buy a bunch of water and you try to get down to the city of Houston by whatever means possible to bring in this water and sell it for a good price because you want to make a bunch of money. Right? Like, this is what happens when people want to make money. So, yeah, like I said, price gouging is a good thing. Also, I would just like to say in closing that, I think I love the city of Houston. I've been there numerous times, go there for work, and I've been in love with the city of Houston for the greater Houston area. There's many cities in one, and you guys will survive this. I just want to, anybody from Houston watches this, you guys will survive. And I mean, the city as a whole will survive. You will recover from this. You're a strong city. And a hurricane isn't going to knock this city on its feet or onto its back. You guys will get back up and you are full of energy and full of life. So God bless.